might be blocked on the other page.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why do they block you? Well, I guess you get reported or something?
It's a bigger page, and I'm not gonna go conspiracy shit, but hey, as you see, I'm here. I can't run. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, good to see you, man. I'm glad you look good, bro.
I appreciate you, brother.
So what's been up, man? How's things heading for you? Talk to me.
Oh man. Like I told you, I'm a fucking mess, but not that is a bad thing, but on my level is, I guess, if it makes sense, like when you get to different stages in your life, you get at a block, you know what I mean? You feel like you get it. I guess it's motivational shit, like you always say. Like you feel like you get it. It's mad motivational, spiritually or physically, depending on your definition. But all I can say is, every time you do your videos, I'm always praying, speaking to myself on different shit that I'm going through, and you're just like like your next video is about the same shit that I've been talking about to myself. So I've been fighting that, to tell you the truth, because I'm just like, you and I don't have no relationship. Like, we have a relationship as far as I've been watching you, but you don't know who the fuck I am, you know, according to physically, you know what I mean? So it's been fucking with me because, especially nowadays, well, every day is the same thing. As far as like when you talk to people and they want to scam you, or you know, you're always looking at somebody trying to take over on you. You know what I mean? But my thing is, you have nothing to gain from me except, you know, monetarily. But at the end of the day, you've given me more than you even could imagine. At the end of the day, I'll just say that, you know. And so, just like I just said, like I've met people in past lives or in my younger years who have been mentors to me that I have a relationship with, who like church wise, like Christian. When I was a Christian, you know, I'll be praying, I'll be asking Jesus for certain things, and a certain brother named Michael, I met in 1997, to give my age. We was in the military together. We spent a lot of time together, you know what I mean? And then 2012 is where I became woke and, you know, started, you know, looking outside of the church for answers. But, so, and this is before the internet. So I'm just giving a background, not only for you, but for whoever watches this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So me and Mike, we were like boys, like in the Air Force, you know. We was in it. Matter of fact, just to give a better example, I was in the church, he was out of the church, but he was preaching better than the pastors in the church. So, but it never occurred to me at the time that he was giving me more game, more wisdom, more spiritual insight than the pastors in the church. I kept going faithfully because I was like, well, I looked up to him more, but I was still going to church, trying to look for answers in the church, when the brother next to me was giving me more answers than anything spiritually. You know what I mean? We just had a connection that I didn't even have to tell him anything, and he would give me answers to the shit that I was just thinking about. It was just weird, you know, physically. It wasn't real, you know, how you be speaking. So what is real, you know? So not to get confused with Israel, but
I don't even know. It's funny. That was funny though.
So no, but I'm adding that on purpose because of your videos that you've been posting. You know what I mean? As you always post, but every video you do just gives me more and more insight, but yet I'm more and more confused, and I feel more and more dumb. And so, but I have no problem being dumb. It's the point that I don't know you physically, so it's hard for me to trust people. You know, that we've had consultations, we've spoken here and there. You know, I've taken a couple of your things, but we've never met physically, so it fucks me up. And I'm an older man in this body, you know, close to the 50. So it just and the shit that we're accustomed to, it doesn't fit our cos what's that cos
Cosmology.
that.
Hmm.
So so more and more when I listen to it, I'm just why I say I'm just fucked up is because nothing in this physical world I want or need, but I gotta every time I wake up, we need something to live. You know what I mean? It's an
Hmm.
illusion. Just because it's an illusion don't mean it's not real. We still gotta deal with everyday life. So I think I got that down packed because I don't need millions. I figured out how to live very comfortably on thousands at the end of the day. You know, so but then my next thing is okay, what happens after this Tony's body dies? Like how do I prepare for the next level is what I've been at. And so that's where I'm at. Point.
Hmm.
And then that's
No, no,
what
no.
you've been
I
talking
like
about.
that.
Like after death, when old boy asked you that, like that, what happens after death? Because he had a passing, and I see that a lot of youngins follow you, which is dope. But I my first instinct is to be impatient and be like, why are they asking all these dumb ass questions? And I'm like, because you ask all these dumb ass questions. You know?
No, I feel you.
So that's where I'm at, man.
Hmm. Nah, that's part of the reason I love when people do ask the questions, even if it's a dumb one, because you'd be surprised how many other people are thinking the same thing, but just didn't, reach. And I fuck with you for real, because you one of the only people who will actually take the videos and clip something, and I appreciate that. But I mean, okay. So as far as the idea, what's going to happen after the physical life, and how our cosmology don't necessarily speak to that sometimes, because it's beautiful because in the guild, because it's the 3 months, we're on the second month and we talk about ancestors, and so we're literally speaking about this stuff. Because sometimes it's hard to tell, it's hard to understand why I go through cosmology, but cosmology directly answers questions like that. Like if you was like a Norseman or something, they have Valhalla, and that's right there in the cosmology. So it doesn't beg the question, But with the materialism and the physicalism that we got right now, it basically the answer to the question. And when you divide your life into cells and atoms, not to say those things aren't real, but they don't answer that question of what happens after the body. Well, I guess to the degree to which they do answer it, they basically say there's nothing, and I wouldn't fuck with that. So I'll admit, bro, real shit. For people today, it's gonna be difficult. It's a little difficult because usually the cosmology answers that for you. It tells you how you're connected to the cosmology. It almost makes that stuff obvious, but nowadays that shit ain't necessarily obvious. So I guess the one way I can say to start out with it is examining your current or present state of awareness. Like, let me say something more specific than that, because that's too
Very
floofy.
broad.
Okay, like check it. Like, okay, we can go back to the agreed axioms. I'm not my body, or I'm more than my body. How's that one sitting for you?
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But
No problem with that.
right. But
Okay.
the direction on going after that's the part.
Yes. Okay. Smooth. No, and that's understandable. Okay. So we can move it like this. Whatever it is you have right now while you have a body will be what you have when you don't have a body. It's like saying, what's going to happen to me after my car gets totaled? Well, whatever you got right now is what you got. So what I say to that is usually something like this. You can be building all these things before your body dies. In fact, it's usually what I would recommend. You want to, the way I like to say it is, you want to learn to die before your body dies.
Right.
And so it's a process of somewhat leaning into that axiom, leaning into that I'm not my body, or I'm more than my body. Like for example, not for example, I'm gonna ask you a question, and we can build off of that. As far as the details on your non-physical, how's that going?
Not good at all. That's the problem.
What you
That's
mean?
the main problem.
Okay, what do you mean by not good at all? Because
Not good at
sometimes
all.
people do a little better than they give themselves credit for.
Okay, well, hopefully, at the end of this, I'm doing better than what I give myself credit for. But now that's my problem is because I don't really have like I said, like what you said, direction with discipline. That thing you down discipline and direction. Like it's not a part. Like when you have a discipline and direction. Like when you go to the gym, you want to look a certain type of way. So you have a goal in mind, a direction where you're going, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to spirituality, I have no direction. I have no goal because I don't. Now I'm just like, I don't believe in heaven and hell because I came from that. So now it's just like, okay, I don't believe in that. Cool. Now what? Like I'm just drifting in the wind. Like anything that could take you goes to eat. You know what I mean? So you're like a leaf in the wind, just being blown here and there. But there's something there, or it's supposed to be something there. But then, like when I hear you speak, it's like, damn, I hear him speaking, and yes, I need direction. Yes, I need a goal. But if you've never been taught, just like you said, we get stuck on being taught and being guided and always having a savior. You know what I mean? You're always being coddled. You always have a spoon feeding you. To the point is just like, well, how the fuck you think now? How do you think about your thing? Like when you say it could be all so simple, I'm like, damn, yeah, it could all be so simple, but this shit ain't simple right now. I'm fucking 46. So it's just like you live all your life being coddled and spoon-fed and shovel-fed at the end of the day and now we have all this information. Yes, we have everything at our so this is why I relate. I try to put down people when I thought I was high. I was like, you got Google and YouTube, right? You got everything. I'm like, yo, you got everything you need. And I realized that people couldn't even search how to heal yourself from a common cold, or definitions, like what you do with the definitions. I was big on definition with etymology and definitions and stuff. It was just like you just think you know everything, so you don't even think to search it. You just think you know it, just like you. So that's why I'm saying, like with you, like it's just like you put a mirror in front of my face. That's all I could say. Is that you put a mirror in front of my face. Everything that I'm frustrated with, annoyed with other people, I'm annoyed with me. Because I have no answers at the end of the day. Like I wake up, I was like, damn, you thought you was somewhere, now you ain't nowhere. Like you just
No, I know the feeling, man.
You're just Dorothy that took in a tornado. You just spinned around. You're still in the same place. You just spun around. Now it's just like, oh shit, where am I at? I'm just dizzy. You're just dizzy. You know what I mean? So, but it's just being real with yourself and shit like this. I don't even like. I'm not comfortable with. Like I told you, I never did this before live. But I was like, fuck this, man. Like I need to keep. I said this over maybe 10 years ago. I said, get comfortable being uncomfortable. This was my shit saying to everybody else, right? But when it comes to me,
right?
I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. So it's easy to fake it till you make it. But then it's like, where are you trying to make it to at the end of the day? So what made me realize is that my image don't matter. Yeah, I want to look good. Yeah, I want this physical body to look good. But at the end of the day, where's that getting me? I don't want nothing. I don't need nothing. I just want to feel good at the end of the day about how this physical body looks. But then now, okay, you got the image. Now where are you trying to take the image? Because you don't want nothing in this physical life. That's where I've been stuck. And that's where I had anxiety, depression. I'm telling you, like, it's something new to me. I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you know what I mean? So it's just new to me. And you, just like I said, every time you said something, it was like answering, but not answering all my questions, because you're just calling me out is what I'm saying. Like, it's like you're just challenging me without you challenging me, because we never met before. But I'm just looking at your videos like, who is this dude? Like, what the You know what I mean? So
All right,
that's
let's do this then. Do you remember? Do you remember the place we were examining in the consultation?
yes, yes,
Yes. Okay, we'll use that as ground zero. Just like with the car example, like if your car was gone today, let's say for the sake of argument, that's what you would have. If your body was gone today, let's say that's what you would have,
right.
and we can start from there. So as far as place is concerned, um, but then again, that answers the question. But like you said, don't answer the question, so we can put some detail on it. Um, because I remember for a while, I had a similar question and I didn't know I had the question until I faced it, and I had a reluctance about what would happen with my personality after the body was gone, and I was like, okay, well, fuck it, I'll start to make something for that. I'll start to actually lean into having that as a direction. And so that there's one part of it. We can take that ground zero and make it a home for your personality. It's just not to say it has to be infinite and eternal, because eternity is a long fucking time. But it's something other than nothing. That's the first thing. The second thing, had you done any of the ancestor work at all? Like how'd that go for you? Mm-mm.
That's another thing. Like when you was telling me that, I'd be stuck and then you answered the question. You was like, you trying to talk to your ancestors with language. Again, I told you in the consultation, I was like, how am I supposed to talk to my pops, my my ancestors and all them? I'm trying to talk to them like verbally, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
and you said that every time you talk, it's funny because you remind me of my pops, because you be holding your patience in, and you're like, yo, you don't have to talk. Like it does, everything is not talking. So it's like, I guess I'm always trying to skip steps. I'm not trying to do what you're telling me to do because I'm not understanding what you're telling me to do at the time. Because you're not telling me to do nothing. You're asking me, you're giving me homework to do, but you're not giving me an outcome like school teaches you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right or wrong, situation. So it's like I'm going into the thing that you're telling me to do, and I'm like, what the fuck is he telling me to do this for? Like I can't talk to these motherfuckers. Like, you know what I mean? So so these are the things that I get frustrated with, because I'm looking for a right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a destination at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
if you can approach it, because it's part of the fuck around and find out. Like I get the inclination to come to a right or wrong answer. That's usually how we was taught in school. But with this one, what I usually try to suggest is risking being wrong. Like go in and telling yourself, look, I'm gonna do this wrong. Like not because I want to mess up, but because to give yourself space. Like learn to ride a bike kind of shit. Like I'm gonna do this wrong before I get it right. And I mean, as far as talking without symbol, without language, we do that every day. Like I can go like this, and I can speak volumes. Like shit. If you want to go, because when you're working non-physically, you can have extra hands. Like maybe that's what you want to do. Like maybe just to start out, just get some extra hands and. Like no words. You can start out that way. Like if you had a baby or a dog, you can communicate with them. And here's another thing. This might help out a little bit. Just on your own side, you can start with language if you want to. But the big thing is don't expect language to come back. That's what I've been trying to emphasize from the guild, is like, because right now we both using our physical bodies to talk, and so the mechanism for that is the language, is the words. But when somebody doesn't have a physical body, they're not necessarily limited to that. And so as long as you're not expecting words to come back as it'll free you up a little bit. So we got the ground zero. The ground zero you can use to really make it Tony's place. To really make it Tony's place. Because sometimes when people get started, they when they're worried about doing something wrong, they approach it as though, oh, I'm gonna do something wrong and I can never fix it. It's gonna be broken forever and I fucked everything up. Like, nah. Not only can you always change this shit, but it's going to change. It's gonna change itself. Like one of the students in the guild, she's one of the pioneers. She leaned into the ancestor ritual where I instructed them, okay, give over the life of your physical life over to the care of the ancestors. And at first it's like, why am I doing this? What's going on? What's the expectation? How's it supposed to come out? But she would lean into it. She would start it, at first it's a little fuzzy, but as she continued to do it over and over again, the entire space would open up. More detail would come about. Things became more clear. Because on your first time, just like in the Matrix, when they jump over the buildings, everybody fuck up the first time. But if you jump thinking you about to get it, you gonna be hurt. So it's like the reason I tell people to start with the ancestors and giving over the custody of your physical life to the ancestors is one, it'll help you stop focusing on it so much. And two, when you catch yourself focusing on it too much, you can go back and redo the ritual again. You can refocus on what happened, bring yourself back there, and it gives you a bit of clarity. How does that sound? How is that landing? Because I don't want to just keep spitting stuff and it's going all over the place.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying. Pretty much what it's saying to me is stop bitching up and keep working on it. Like I'm looking for something that it's supposed to be microwavable, but it's not microwavable. It's something that you got to keep working at and keep doing. Just like when we learn how to walk, we keep falling down, but we don't look at that as failure. We just keep trying to walk and fall, crawl, walk. But
and the funny thing about walking is, walking is falling stylishly.
Stylishly.
Right.
It
really is. It's like falling forward with a bit of a rhythm. So it's like you don't even have to not fall down. Like sometimes falling down will show you something you didn't realize was there. So it's.
What can I'm gonna cut you off real quick.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
The biggest thing that gets in my way is, why am I falling down? I don't know what the walking part is supposed to be. I know. I didn't know that when I was trying to walk anyway. I didn't know when I was crawling I was supposed to walk.
Right?
I'm trying to know before I'm supposed to know.
Yeah. It's just to fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
And you're nailing it, because that's exactly the thing that's giving you the friction. It's like if you fall off that bike the first time, you swear off bikes, and it's like, nah, you're supposed to fall a couple times, just because that's how you get the balance, I mean, but I understand the reluctance, because it feels like I'm doing it wrong. And you may be doing it wrong, but wrong is the pathway to right.
But to try to correct that, if that's the right word, not that I'm doing it wrong, I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I just know when this body Tony dies, I don't know what's the correct, what am I even working towards? Like, you know what I mean? So before we was taught heaven and hell. So before I knew, I didn't want to go to hell. I wanted to go to heaven. Once you come to that realization that there is no heaven and hell for yourself and your perspective, now what are you working towards? And that's where I'm stuck. Like, what am I working towards? Or what's the, like before, like you talking about riding a bike, riding a bike, you want to get on that bike, get the wheels, the training wheels. You want to get off the training wheels if you even we didn't have money for training wheels, but so once you start riding, you knew that you just wanted to do this, and then you found out that you could do wheelies or other tricks, if you got to that level. But at the end of the day, we knew we just wanted to ride the bike. So I guess spiritually, I don't even know what riding the bike is now.
Like a phone.
So I guess, so spiritually, I don't even know what riding a bike means. I don't know what walking means. So that's the whole conundrum.
And see, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know, sir. Just you contending with these questions, not just contending with them, being willing to talk about it and publicly, your league's ahead of most people, because most of them, they're not even going to contend with the questions. They're just going to assume they're already right. So you're already taking steps. Like the steps you're taking, they may not seem like walking, but it's the crawling, the necessary crawling. So it's not bad. It's not that you're ultimately wrong at any. So you're actually in the direction. So I want to make sure I give you your accolades on that. But you're right, because usually when you learn to ride a bike or learn to drive, you can see a bunch of other people doing it.
Right.
And the place where this is a bit different is what you're doing isn't necessarily supposed to be like what anyone else has done. And that's why it's a little different. It's almost like carving a whole different path. Here, we can do this. This might help. I want to give you some direction, and I want to give you some technique. Okay. As far as direction, because I don't want to try and tell you need to get to step 10. Step 1 is where you got to be, because once you get through step 1, step 2 becomes somewhat obvious, and sometimes people at step 1 looking at step 10 thinking that's how you gauge it, and it don't work that way. It's when you get through step 1, step 2 presents itself. So in terms of direction, especially here at step 1, what you're mostly doing is uncovering what's there and building what's appropriate for you, or what fits mostly to what you want, because what you want now won't be what you want later, and that's natural. You get through that shit growing up, right? Like in Christianity, when you accept Christ, they call it a rebirth. You're born again. And in terms of direction, you want to look at this as though it's a place in which you're being born again. And so you're going through the baby phase. It's like, it doesn't even matter the age of your physical body. It's like, that's the beauty of it. It's leaning into the fact that in this, you're being born again. You're going through the whole baby, numbing on shit, crawling kind of stuff. But all those things, even though they look childish and weak, they're necessary for the development. So you like I'm saying, bro, you're crawling right now, and it's so much better than motherfuckers just kicking around on their back and shit. So I want to make sure you don't knock yourself for not running already. I be telling folks, I've been doing this shit for years, and so it's a lifetime journey. It's not like something you're gonna finish picking up. Like sometimes you take a class and okay, you went through all the courses, you took the test, they give you the certificate, and now you're on to the next thing. Like this one is always continuous. Okay, so
like
there's a little bit of direction.
No, I wanted to add that you always say you never finish washing your ass. Like you always shitting and you always keep washing the ass. That never stops. So
every day, you can get in there and get it extra clean today. Tomorrow there gonna be some new shit.
Some more shit. Right after you shit, you about to shit again. You take a shower, you all clean, like, oh shit, that shit coming back. And you don't control that. And you have no control over that. That's another thing you said. Like, there is no control. Like, we want to control everything. We want to control emotions, and we want to control this, but we really have no control. And that's another question I had about like free will and all that stuff. So, but anyway, I'm just throwing
Because I think control is really overrated. Control is usually what you try to get when you feel like you lost to try and get things back. But in this, especially in the beginning, it's more about leaning into being lost. Like sometimes, like especially when I move to a new place, and I don't know how the setup is, I'll get lost on purpose. I'll just take a few turns and keep turning. I don't even care which way I'm turning. I'm seeing what I can see, and eventually I end up in a place where, oh shit, I know where this is. So if this is here, that means that was there, and that was there. It's a learning, but it's not linear. Like in school, we were taught to learn in a linear fashion. They give you this, then they tell you this, then they tell you this. But in the way this comes, like by the time you hit the aha moment, you've already went through 3 courses, and now it makes sense. So I'm not gonna say that's not frustrating, because it is. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. So you're not delusional for feeling frustrated about it, because it is frustrating. But it's par for the course. It's par for the course, because some of the things that you learn in that non-linear way, you wouldn't have been able to understand if you'd have got it all at once. So it's par for the course, bro. So yeah, direction. So hopefully I can give you some kind of direction a little bit. But as far as some technique, we can expand that ground zero a little bit, so that it has a little more obvious purpose to it. So we can take the ground zero, the basic place you got, and because you don't have to throw away heaven and hell, only because you know them so well, but you can recontextualize it to fit to what you're doing until, like training wheels, until it
Can I
hits.
pause that real quick?
Go ahead.
You said because I know them so well. Do we really know heaven and hell that well, though?
Well, you know it enough to, for it to be what you got. Not to say you're an expert or anything like that, but it comes to mind readily.
Right.
Is the goal
direction? Is the goal in the direction?
Yeah, to get you moving in a direction. Right. That way, because sometimes people will see anything Christian, anything, they just reject it and they run. No, I'm not that. But it's like, but that's what you know, and so much of this stuff is gonna come out based on what you know. But so it's contextualizing it a little bit. So we can do this. We can take that ground zero and make that just Tony's world, Tony's area. But you can to add to that, you can populate the sky, the clouds and stuff. You can make that like a heaven-ish type of place and use that to begin to deal with ancestors. So you can start off, anytime you go in, you start out in Tony's place, chill, pop it off. Hey, what's going on? We doing good here. Then you want to do some ancestor work up to the clouds. And it still keeps you in the same mode, but it still keeps you in the same mode, but it's something that's a little bit familiar. So it's not just walking in the dark. Okay, so you can go up there. You can have whole other worlds up there doing that. You can make it whatever you like, but sometimes people get into a place where they feel like they're gonna make something wrong. It's understandable. And so that's why I say just start with a heavenish right ground, and you can move from there. So ground zero, like a heavenly sort of ancestor realm, and then we can fuck with hell as well. But in hell, you can make it like Tony stuff that Tony doesn't want to have to look at, Tony don't want to have to deal with, but he's gonna eventually need to fuck with, So right up under that ground zero, you can even have some stairs over there if you want to. You can have an elevator. It's 2024, right? You can have an elevator with some little flame doors or whatever.
I blink my ass down there. I blink my ass down there.
Really though, and see, look, and stuff like that is right. It's not wrong at all. Yes, it can be as simple as that. That's what I mean when I say it can be so simple. Yes, it can be as simple as that. And the fact that just comes out, I didn't have to pull that out of you. That's what I would say go with. Yes, So you can go down to the hell realm and start to deal with the like that part of you that's ready and just ready to jump up and say, hey man, you're doing it wrong. You can go. That can be its whole place. Because it's not to say that thing is not valuable. Because sometimes if you're trying to do something right, it's cool for it to say, hey man, that's wrong. But if it's ready to jump out at any and everything you do, that's a little bit something different. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
How's
yeah.
that landing for you? How's that sound?
So what I've gotten so far is not being afraid to create shit. Be a creator. Like that's what I'm getting from this conversation is it's not so much that you make your own shit. Like I heard you as well. Like you just want to have your own rules, and you just want to be free, which we all want to be free and do our own shit, which comes with consequences and repercussions. At the end of the day,
Freedom isn't free.
Free is not right. So at the end of the day, it's just like when you were putting me through those exercises, I was frustrated and annoyed because I didn't know why I was doing those exercises. You didn't tell me, you didn't give me a goal, you didn't give me no directions. You was just like, yo, fuck around, find out, and tell me what happens next week, type thing. And I was like, fuck you telling me, like, like you ain't give me no, I ain't paying to do that. I'm paying to tell me what to do. But you know what I mean? And so it's just a mindset of I'm listening to you, but I'm getting in the way a lot of times. My mental path of what I've been taught to do, not that is bad or wrong, but is my mental of not thinking of my thinking. And now that I'm hearing more and more, like you kept saying, it's not a wrong or right answer, but I'm just like, okay, it's not a wrong or right answer, but tell me what the fuck to do.
Love that. And that's what I find with a lot of people. It's you can say, okay, it's not a right or wrong answer, but then there's still something that's going to tell you, oh, you're doing it wrong. And it's like, well, hold on, wait a second. There's not a right or wrong answer. And so that's a perfect place to find that thing and say, hold on, okay, I see you now. I see you over here talking shit. I don't have to get rid of you, but we got to put it in some context, oh man. And sometimes it's not so much that you want to be creating things, because sometimes when we create stuff, we think, okay, I'm forcing it, I'm trying to make it happen. That's usually why I don't like to tell people what to do.
Right.
Huh?
That's where I get anxiety, when I gotta force shit. Like I'm just trying to force. Like I gotta come back to you and be like, yo, I had this whole fucking shit planned out. Yo, I got Disney World, but it's not Disney World. I got some other shit that you ain't never heard before. So it's like that's the forcing of that. I'm forcing myself to come back with a great homework that the teacher asked me to come with. So that's how it is. And I'm trying to be real and as possible as I can, because it's just like I'm stuck in my 40s, my late 40s, thinking this way, and I see the youngins thinking their way. And so I'm just like, man, that's why I wanted to do this live. And that's why it took me to do this live. Honestly, whoever sees it. It ain't like that. But it's crazy that I wasn't able to do it on my big page. I had to do it on my small page. So I seen a few people that came in that I was like, oh shit, I don't know what they're gonna hear, but it is what it is. But it made it even more cringe. Cringe.
I love that.
So no, but it's just, that's the point. Like I just want to I'm trying to be me, whatever the fuck me is, and just be whoever can learn. But I just want to fuck whoever can learn. Like I'm trying to learn, really, at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And
yes.
So I talk to myself like this all the time, but it's just like, if it could, when you say it could all be so simple, I'm like, bitch, no, it can't. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, what is so simple? But then I listen to myself. I say the same shit to other people talking about different subjects, right? It can all be so simple. And I'm just thinking the same thing when you're saying it. So it's just like, I can relate everything that you're saying, because I take what you say as a challenge. And I love that. I take it as a challenge. and then I put it every time I'm trying to down somebody, which in my mind I'm not downing them. I'm being humble and graceful, trying to teach people on some other shit. And I'm just like, nah, Tony, remember you was at that level on this, their type of level. It was easy for you now, but before, remember when it was hard as fuck? Remember when you thought you was like, you were going to die because old girl left you or old girl cheated on you? You know what I mean? You thought all these little things that are little now are like, they were huge at one point in my life. So this thing right now is huge in my life because I'm like, the spirituality, I thought I had it down pat when I was in church, teaching kids, teaching the youth, playing the praise and worship. I was doing all the best, all the things that I could have been the highest of the highs, except being a pastor. You know what I mean? So I got caught in this level that it was like, damn, you don't really know shit about spirituality, and it sucks. It sucks to feel that way when you thought it's like being a 8th grader. Now you got to be a 9th grader in high school. You was an 8th grader in middle school.
Bro, I remember that shit.
You was the man. Now you ain't shit. Nobody knows you. Then you were the senior. Now you're like, oh, now it's adulthood. Nope. Fuck who? You coming out of high school? Fuck is high school? You still a little kid. You know what I mean? So it's just levels in life that you got to be, like you always say, you just got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and be like, not that you ain't shit, but you ain't shit. Because most of the time you think you're too much.
Yes.
So I understand when you say you're a piece of shit. I'm fucked up. All these, I don't take it as a like I used to take it. Oh, he's talking down. Everything's life and death in the power of the tongue. You know what I mean? And which can be true. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. But you understand what you're saying when you're saying it. Somebody else's perspective, like when I talk, somebody else's perspective be like, you're so negative. You're so. No, I'm not negative. I'm just being real with what's happening at the time. You know what I mean? Oh, you're seeing the cup half empty instead of half full. No, I get all that stuff, what you're saying. But at the time, no, this shit is really half empty, really empty, because I thought I was above. I thought I had a full cup. I thought my shit was running over. I thought my shit was running over.
You start telling folks how you feeling shit. I love it.
The red or the black, whatever's a negative. But yeah, so that's
and see, look, man, like you be talking about the youngest, man. Like this is why I would prefer to talk to grown folks, because the youngest, they don't understand any of that. All they got is he talking down to me. He being mean to me. He's not telling me my cup is half full. He's on negative energy, and they haven't been through enough to understand that they don't understand.
Right.
And see, that's what I'm saying, man. You're leagues ahead of other people in certain respects. It's because we all got different things we good at and we become competent in. Like man, you may be able to pull the hood on this car up and show me the fuck out and yeah, It's just like you were talking about with going from middle school to high school to college to out here in the world, like that cycle, that cycle of renewing where you go from being the top motherfucker on the block to back to baby shit, it never stops. Like it's always gonna be that.
And even when you leave the block, you could be a gang leader. You go to the next block, gang leader. Who the fuck is you? Or you go to the next state, next country, you know what I mean? So it's always in everything. And that's when there's a rap song I heard. I know you say you're the least black man. You always talk about rap. You're like, I don't know nothing about that shit. I be listening. Yeah, I be listening. But so I think it was Meek Mills. He said he got a song called "There's Levels to This Shit." And so again, I always listen and think on different perspectives. When he was talking about there's levels to this shit, he's talking about, money and shit. But when I look at everything, spirituality or physical, there's always levels to everything in life. And I feel that's like a universal shit. Like there's always levels to everything. You know what I mean? I watched deers. I was like, why a deer could be born and walk within an hour or two? And I'm like, does not over a year to just walk? So I thought about shit like that, and I was just like, well, there's levels. Well, you want to be a deer and get ate when you come out the belly?
That's
You
why
know what
they
I mean?
gotta run so quick.
So there's pros and cons. So so
Mm-hmm.
that's the type of shit that I think about, and that's the type of pros and cons that I think about everything. And then when I listen to you, I'm just like, God damn! Like I thought I was ahead of the game. And then you just brought me down to back in the belly. I'm back in my mama's pussy.
Took it all the way back.
So
Oh.
no, but I'm giving you your flowers because I have no problem giving everybody their flowers. You know what I mean? Just like you said, we all have our gifts, not our gifts, but our strengths or whatever, wherever we're at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, like you're way 10 years younger than me, and that was a big thing. And if we never met before, so that was another barrier for me. But I was just like, damn, man, everything he says, every time he brings out a video, it's already giving me answers to shit that I never even talked to this brother about. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I have no choice but to keep going. You know what I mean? So when he asked me to do this live, I was just like, damn, why you always? I didn't want to do no live, man. You gotta put me out the way. But I was like, hey, man, be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I know younger people need to hear an older man be humble at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because I see the disconnect too from OGs. They always call OGs a unk. I don't even like. I respect it, but I don't respect it because I don't think there's no more respect on anything. You know what I mean? Like when I grew up, I respected everybody who was older than me, whether you were dumb or smart. But now
Mm-hmm.
I feel like just because you say you're a certain age, you're already an OG or unk. But you don't. Are you learning anything from OG or unk?
Right.
Is he giving any? You know what I mean? Is he
Is he
listening?
looking out?
It's looking out for you and for your best interests too. You know what I mean? Just because you think
Mm-hmm.
he critiques you, is he really hating on you, or is he really trying to show you something better? You know, and
Yeah.
so I think that's the disconnect now. But anyway,
No,
I'm here for it.
no. I think it's relevant. I think it's very relevant, man, because it's a serious rebirth, man. Especially the first couple times you get hit with it, until you get used to the fact that okay, I'm gonna have to be reborn in some way again and again and again. It's like
It's
you
not
ever
a one
seen one of
time
them?
thing. No,
Say it again.
I was just saying it's not a one time thing like you just said. You got to be reborn and reborn. But
Yeah, it's like those crustaceans or like spiders when they they always got to shed throughout their whole life, you know. And it's not something that they doing wrong. It's not somebody, you know, they should have done this over here. They should have done that. Now I wouldn't have to shed. Like, nah, it's gonna
you know,
come.
I thought about how many spider webs I took down. That those spiders took like I don't know how long it takes for a spider to make their web to get food
Mm-hmm.
that they need every day. And I'm here we just wiping spider webs down, and it's just like damn, I just took all night or all day or a week to make this spider web. You just come like, oh, okay, that's just a spider web, and that's just
Right.
like you take I'm 46-year-old. Just to say, I took years to make this spider web. Now all of a sudden, Aries comes and says, oh, fuck your spider web, Dick.
Fuck that.
Bitch ass, what's that spider web over here? That shit's in my
I love that.
way.
Oh man.
So it just, I look at little things like that now that I didn't think about before. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I think another reason why you being an older guy is it puts you leagues ahead is because you've gone through life and had to have been competent with something. Like a lot of these younger folks, they've never had to be competent with anything. And so they don't know what that means to develop something and hone a craft. Like, bro, you could probably knock my ass out with fucking push-ups or some boxing or something. Like, you got the upper body and what?
That's all looks. That's all looks.
Man, please. I know it ain't easy. I can say that much. I know it ain't easy. So, I mean,
But that's something that I had. But that was the image. That was all part of my image. You know, that started way back when. That I kept up that discipline because I needed a certain image of Tony.
mm-hmm.
But Tony, the only reason why Tony was Tony is because he had to look like Tony. If he looked any other way, that's not Tony no more. So that's what kept me is what I'm. So just being real, it's just like people like, oh, I love the gym. You don't love the gym. You love the way you look because of the gym. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Because you think you're this physical body, and that's all you have. You don't have nothing more deeper than what you look like. You know what I mean? And
No,
so,
yeah, yeah,
go ahead.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So I I think because you have a good idea, a sense of what it is. It's just the actual execution of it. Like you could tell me the type of workout I could do to start to build my frame. But if I think I'm gonna get that in the first week, or I'm upset because I did these 20 push-ups and now my arm hurt. Like that. Like that's what you feeling right now. That's what it
No,
is.
the fucked up part is that I always hated the gym. To this day,
Uh,
I don't even
mm,
like the gym, bro. I don't like the gym. I don't like the. I've never liked it. I kept finding people that love the gym, and I would hang on to their motivation. And because
ooh.
I looked in the mirror, I was like, yeah, that's how I want to look. So in order to look a certain way, I got to do a certain thing. I had a goal. I had a direction. Not because I'm disciplined. I'm disciplined because I love that image. I'm not disciplined
Mm-hmm.
because I'm disciplined. So I was a vegan vegetarian for like 7 years. Not because not because I was so disciplined or just because I was woke or because I wanted a spiritual life, which I thought I had to do a spiritual life at the time. But I did that. I did that. There's a reason why I did that. But long story short is what I'm trying to say is a lot of people see me going to the gym or taking care of this body as because I love it. I don't love none of this shit, bro. I'm telling you, I love nothing of this life. I just do it because I get certain benefits by doing what I do, and I know the benefits I'm gonna get by doing what I'm gonna do. But I don't know the benefits I'm gonna get by being spiritual. If I could be real, you know what I mean?
No,
So
no, that's real. Um, Here, because this can add to the direction as well. Because I think it's also something you're looking for. Because you mentioned before, I just want to be able to be me, whatever that means. And that's sort of a pull towards being authentic and finding ways where you're being inauthentic. Like, cause motherfuckers will hear me sitting here talking shit all day, but like I went through a long period where I had to shut up because when I started listening to myself and the things that would come out of my mouth, I would say half truths or capping ass shit. And when I started to dedicate myself to catching those things and only saying things that were authentic to me, for a long time I had almost nothing to say. You know, I had almost nothing to say, and I think one of the places where you can really look for direction is trying to be more authentic. Well, not trying, but being more authentic. And not just in a performative way, but in a way where you're okay, this is probably a better way to say it. Instead of seeking to be more authentic, seeking to have clarity on where you're not as authentic as you could be. Because
can you say it in a different way?
yeah, because sometimes people will think, okay, it's like the difference between looking at step 10 and staying here at step 1. Like sometimes they'll be like, okay, I want to be more authentic, and so they perform things like, this is what I want to do and this is how I feel, and that's where they're going, but they don't check to get more clarity on how they're inauthentic. And that's what I would suggest is checking like being more aware, open, and pursuing those places where you're not authentic, because by the time you get in there dishing out how you're inauthentic, the only thing you have left is your authentic self. And so you see what I mean? Like searching for where you're in your own way, as opposed to trying to perform how you think you should be.
Okay, so I'm gonna just explain the way I heard you. I think I've been a perfectionist at being able to see my inauthenticity. Is that how you say
No, that's right. Yeah, you got it. And the pronunciation.
it? So I think most of my life I've been able to see that part,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been trying to build the later years of my life. I would have my early years, I wouldn't be able to talk this way. I wouldn't be able to tell people I'm not really humble. I was just being prideful. I just want to look good in front of people. You know what I mean? Especially on
Mm-hmm.
fucking internet like this. So my thing is that I don't think that's a hard thing for me to do, to be authentic and to shout out. Like most people when I say I'm a piece of shit, most people are like, what are you talking about, Tony? They always want
Mm-hmm.
the good stuff, and I'm like, nah, I'm not good. Like, and I have to like really tell them all the shitty shit, in my opinion, that I do. Like, I could use my good side to make you trust me, but then I'm using you. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
need at the time. So, and I have no point like being with women or my mother or whoever. I could tell them the truth, but most people find it hard to believe me when I'm being authentic because
Yes.
it sounds like I'm putting myself down and nobody like not
Mm-hmm.
love and light and you know how people are supposed to. You get a gold star for every good thing you do, even though it's not a good thing. But,
Get the gold star.
so I'm just saying that to be real and to be authentic, but maybe there is not maybe, but there probably is things that I'm inauthentic that I haven't seen yet or I haven't put a flashlight to that
Mm-hmm.
that you I don't know.
No,
I'm
because
just
I feel you. I feel you. Because, not necessarily inauthentic as in inauthentic with other people, but inauthentic with yourself. Like, for example, that part of you that's ready to jump in and tell yourself you're doing something wrong when you don't necessarily know what right is. You know, that's inauthentic with yourself because it's ready to it's almost like an underlying idea that ultimately you're gonna fuck things up and not necessarily giving yourself a chance. See, that's something you can face and never have talked to anyone about it. You know, like or really coming face to face with a part of yourself that is it may not be 100% scared to get something wrong in front of somebody, but maybe it's 10% scared. And you know, you get used to saying, well, it's just a little thing, it's just a little fear, you know, it's nothing thing. But when you actually look at it, you'll see how many places it's got its hands in, kind of thing. Like that's sort of what I mean. Like more so authentic with yourself as opposed to other people. Does that make sense?
no, it makes sense because it's like you want to be more authentic than other people because you want to get that award, that cookie, the hero cookie for them. But when it comes to you, you're like, nah.
Yes.
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
Because I mean, it's and especially when you start to get older and you're in your ways and your habits and you're doing something that got you a particular result up till now, it's hard to look at that thing and say, hey, I got to get rid of it because you know it's been taking care of you for so long.
Right.
But it's old scaffolding.
It's like that cushion, that scab, like that scab been taking care, protecting your hands. You had that soft hands. Now it's like, but them scabs ain't no good, bro.
Yeah, you don't need it anymore, and because I do get that, man. It's shit that served you before. It's like a old stuffed animal. You know, when you was a little kid, you know, it kept you safe in the dark or whatever. But you hit teenage years, you don't need it anymore. You know, like how I look out here with this damn stuffed animal. and other places where some of that can be because a lot of this stuff can be very subtle. That's how it'll fuck you up. It can be very subtle. Like what's a good example? Like one place I like to point it out for people is where they have a tendency not to show up for themselves. Like if somebody else needed me to do it, oh, I'm there, boom, I got you, boom, boom, I got you. But they won't show up for themselves and really looking at it because it may be, once again, something that seems really small now, but you get in there and look and it keeps you from showing up for yourself in different ways, because there's an underlying presumption that, maybe you're not worth it, or maybe, based on all the dirt you know about yourself, you're just like, I ain't even got a chance. I may as well not even try, and it's good. Man, I like to say it is giving yourself room to surprise yourself, because especially when we start to get older, we done been through some shit. It almost feels like nothing's gonna surprise you anymore.
Nothing. But the thing that helped me, what you're talking about now, that I'm able to see now, is because when I was a Christian, I really was a Christian. So when people weren't looking at me, I was really trying to do things behind the scene that Jesus could only see me do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I did go through my F Jesus and F Christianity. I went through all that, and I still have videos. I wasn't saying F Jesus, but I have videos that I saved. I saved those videos because I want to show people who asked me when they asked me, well, about my path. And people try to come up, oh, but you don't know about Jesus Christ. And I was like, bro, like, here's a video. Like, I've been through that already. I've been through that stage. It doesn't work, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I think I keep it more for me at the end of the day, because I like to see me speaking at that time and just seeing where I was and the way I was, actually thinking and putting things together. But I didn't have an answer to after what I just said. Okay, now that I just showed that Jesus ain't real, or now that I just showed that this part in the Bible didn't make sense, what's the solution to this? What now? Where do you go with all this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I didn't have, and I still don't have to this day. And that's where we're at. That, yeah, I could give you rebuttals. I could give you questions, like you say. What's the question? Okay, you gave a good ass question, but you don't even have the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, and that's where you've put that flashlight on me to be like, okay, now what? What's the solution? Do you even know where you're going? Because if you don't know where you're going, you might as well go back to Jesus. And when you said that, I was just like, God dang. I was like, I'm not doing that. So now what's the next option? So at the end of the, and it's not that Jesus is bad for people that it is. I'm just saying that's not where I want to do. I want to get to that, whatever that next level, whatever that next journey direction is. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go back to where I just came from. I'm trying to keep, moving ahead in the direction I'm supposed to go in. Not right or wrong, but the direction I'm supposed to go in, which I keep.
Do you from the consoles? Do you remember the non-physical conception of self?
Michael or Freedom. Well, I had two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How have you been engaging with that at all, or how's?
No, I haven't done that.
Is there a particular reason why not, or?
Yes, the main reason is why when I started this, I had no direction to go with it. I didn't know why I was doing it. I didn't know why I should do it. So I was just like, that's why I told you I was frustrated. I was like, okay, I get Michael and Freedom. What the fuck that got to do with Tony? Even though I said I'm not the body.
Right.
And then with the ancestors talking about what, my pops, my grandpops, and my other grandpops, I was just like, I was trying to talk to them, and I just didn't have a direction. That's it. At the end of the day, I didn't have a direction why I need to know a why I'm doing something. And once I know the why, I fucking break through those barriers quick. But when I don't have a why, I could easily go into depression, anxiety type.
No, that makes sense. Here's something else I could suggest. Using Michael and Freedom as a bearing for direction. Because just like you're saying, even outside of church when you was Christian, you do stuff because you're like, okay, look, Jesus can see this. Well, same difference with Michael and Freedom. All that shit you do, all the things you think, all the things you believe, Michael and Freedom can see it. And just having the knowledge of their gaze, I guess you could say, the knowledge of their awareness being on you with that can help guide your actions a bit. Because even when in Christianity, when you think, okay, Jesus can see, you may not always know where things are going to end up, but you know what you got to do in the moment. Does that make sense?
The faith.
Mm-hmm.
That's talk about the faith.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
Bible,
See, like,
but you just go ahead.
like with people who you go over a Christian house and they got pictures of Jesus up, they got the statue. They got maybe they got a Jesus song, that they like to sing, whatever.
Bible.
You can do the same things with Michael and Freedom. Like maybe there's a Superman picture that resonates with the idea of Michael and Freedom. You keep that picture up. You walk around with the S. And it has the same effect to help with the direction, because I know a lot of times, right? It's hard to know where to go, what to do, and on the one hand, you got the part that's like, well, I don't want to be beholden to somebody else telling me what to do, but at the other side, you got, well, I don't know what to do, and it'd be nice to have some guidance, And so those two kind of clash, like that. Like, see, that's some of the things you might be able to find in that hell part underneath Tony's place is that part of yourself that still really wants somebody to follow. Not to say not in a shameful way, but it's in a childlike way where, okay, I'm being reborn and I don't know, and I have the desire to have someone to tell me what to do, even though I don't want to have to do what they say.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense.
Yeah. Those are some of the details you want to have on Michael and Freedom. That way it has an effect in your life. Because somebody say I'm a Christian and I believe in Jesus, you're gonna see some of that in their life. You're gonna see some of that in the way they keep their home, the things that they have there. And the beautiful thing about some of this is you can keep it in plain sight. Like, nobody has to know what that Superman image means to you.
If you don't know what you're looking at, you don't see nothing.
Exactly. And then see, the more, because it can just start with something small, just like that. But the more you lean into it, the more that's uncovered, the more that reveals itself.
You gotta add question there.
Society eject. Oh, that's what's up. That's where I've been tripping up on, where I replaced the heaven and hell story. Well, because and I understand that, because like this is why I talk about cosmology, because the cosmology comes with the story. Like when you get into Christianity, they already got the whole setup already set up for you. You just got to fall into it. But now,
you talking about cosmology. I'm almost 50. I was like, cosmology? What the fuck you talking about, cosmology?
Right? These old religions and rites, they've been doing it for so long, and when you do it well, no one even has to think about cosmology. But when you're out here having to rebuild it from ground up, these are some of the things you gotta. It's like new learning. So yeah, it's important because let's say, okay, with Michael and Freedom, the more the details you know about what it means for them to be what they are, the more you can uncover that story. Like with Christianity with Jesus, like when you call Jesus, Jesus' story. That's God's son. He came down here and got on that cross for me.
Most of the story anyway. But
you know enough of it to make sense. Yeah. And then the more it affects you, the more you want to learn more about the story. And so it's that same thing. You get a little bit of Freedom and Michael's story. It unfolds. Unfolds.
That's where I get stuck. Because you say the more I know about their story, but the more you say that, is like I got to create a story, because I'm just like, you know what I mean?
Well, no, I get what you mean. And this is why I say it's on one side of it is a you creating it, but on the other side it's a you letting it unfold. It's like you plant seeds for a garden, or you tilled the soil, you pick the seeds, you put them where you want to, you created that. But you got to let it unfold, and you got to participate in its unfolding for it to work out right. And so in the beginning, it looks like, okay, I'm just making this up, but when you move based on what you believing, it can start to unfold. Like you can start out like, okay, Michael and Freedom came down here, and you know, as soon as they hit the ground, this Tony thing started to sprout up, and they're here to cultivate it, you know. And okay, that can start out. That could be a basic place to start with. Okay, Michael and Freedom came here to grow something, and the thing they've been growing is this Tony. You know, okay, that starts you out. But then now you can start to get more. Okay, well, so what was the place like where Michael and Freedom came from? And you can ask them. You know, you can engage with them. Maybe even go visit with them if you'd like to. Like, take me back to where y'all was at for a minute. And maybe the first time you go, you only get a little bit. It's confusing. You go the second time, you can see a little more. Like, you ever been to some place where, you know, it's the first time you go and, you know, you see a few things, but then you go another time or you go again, like during the day, and everything looks a little different. It's the same thing, but you notice more now when you go the second time.
Well, even the whole Jesus story, that was confusing in the beginning, but we only follow that story because one, is written down for us already, and two, we trust somebody that brought us to that Jesus story. Like mine was the grandmother, so I already loved my grandmother. She brought me to church. She told me about Jesus. Now we have a whole story written out for us already. So when I'm listening, I just want to tell you what I hear when you're saying is, we already have things that have been written out for us. We have somebody that we trust that brought us to this written out story. And now we've seen, when we believe in this story, certain things happen.
For this one, it's the degree to which you trust Michael and Freedom. You know, and because this is the part where you're uncovering things that are already there. Like, you ever realize something that you knew that you didn't know that you knew, or you forgot that you knew? It's almost like uncovering it. It's similar to that sort of a feeling where these things, there's so much stuff that's there, but it's a process of uncovering what's there. It's like archaeological digs, you know, you maybe see a little rock poking above the dirt, but you start to uncover it, and there's all this shit that was already there that you didn't know was there. And that's mostly where you're gonna get the unfolding from. Because at first it'll feel like I just have to make something up. But like with the idea of blinking and you get to go to the heaven place or back to Tony's place, like that was right there at the surface. Like the things that are right there at the surface, that's the stuff that you're uncovering. It's the easy stuff. Right. All right. It's that's where you're not having to force it. And it may seem like, oh man, that was too easy. It can be simple.
It can always so simple.
But yeah, it's how much you trust in what's there. You know, because I've had people who at first they were just making things up, but once you start to lean into it, you know, once you start to have your actions line up with what you say you believe, that's when it starts to unfold and reveal itself. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I'm not gonna try and clown you and say that part's easy, especially at the beginning. It's not. But I remember when I first started out, and this story sticks in my head. Like I had the deity I created. His name is Rudolph Murphy. He's like a dual deity. But when he first started out, he was a little monkey deity that I kept in the car to help me get a good radio station. And I have been. Say it again.
If it could all be so simple, that was a simple ass explanation you just gave me. Like that's a good radio station.
Shit starts out very simple. Once you lean into it, then it starts to unfold and get a little more complicated, like a plant. Right. But yeah, I started out with him, and I was testing my boundaries. I was testing how much I believe. One of the things that Rudolph was good at doing was altering people's thoughts. Like, not to say I want you to think carrot and now you're gonna think that. Like, no, like Like, if I didn't want somebody to notice me, you know, all that takes is a second of distraction and I'm good. And so I was doing this thing where I was like, okay, because at that time I had been riding around with no plates on my car.
You want to see
Right, dirty, right? And I didn't want them to see me. And I was like, okay, I pulled up to a stoplight and there was a cop like maybe 2 cars ahead of me. And I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to ride past this motherfucker. I know it. And then Rudolph was like, okay, go ahead, try it out, do something. And I'm like, damn, I gotta do it now. I gotta do it. And so I take the car and I'm riding up. I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'm going. We're gonna find out today. And I get about as close to his bumper and his lights come on. And you know what? Oh shit. But he pulled somebody else over. And I just cruised right by. I was like, oh shit. It's on now. It was aligning my actions with what I believe and allowing it to unfold. Because it's terrifying. It doesn't feel good and it's not easy at first, but it'll get you there. Can you post this video on your YouTube page? Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll take it off of Instagram and set it up for YouTube. It's not a problem. Yeah, I really do think older guys need to see it too, because it's being a man. You get out here and we got to do so much on our own. We're not really taught, or we're not really experienced ways in which we can connect with other guys. And it is dangerous to just be out here with your emotions on your shoulder all the time. You know, we're not crazy for thinking that. But we can't be in a place where we can't do anything. Right. And that's detrimental.
Right. That's like that invisible cage we put around ourselves. The animal cage, that electrical cage that's not even there though. It ain't got no electric, like it's just there.
And just the sight of it is enough not to go near it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you,
it's the fear.
And I tell you, to do this today, I had so much anxiety, bro. Like, and I'm just like, why do you have this much anxiety just to get up and just talk? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird. I still don't know why. I like that. I don't even have that explanation why. I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Like, let's do it. And we had problems with the other page, and I was like, it's not meant for us to do this. I was like, no, you good.
Oh.
I said, let's try the other page, and I was like, it didn't happen right away, and I was just like, damn. So there's always an excuse for me to try something new or do something new. But anyway,
we can use that as to extend this technique a little bit too. Like for that hell realm. Because you were just saying, I still don't even know why I had all this anxiety. That's a perfect example. You go down to that hell realm, you find the Tony who had the anxiety, and actually face him, see him, hear what he has to say. Okay, what about this had us anxious? And if it helps, and I think it would, take Michael and Freedom with you. Let's go on a trek real quick. Let's go find this Tony that has this anxiety about this, because you already know it's somewhat ridiculous. It's like, what the fuck? Why am I? It's just a lie. What am I doing? Right. But go and find him, because there's so many different versions of yourself that have this little thing, and it's easy to overlook them sometimes, especially after we've overcome it, so to speak. You already showed up on the live, so it may seem like, okay, it's unnecessary, but you'd be surprised how many places that little thing has its hand in. And it's a little bit of a barrier for you of being more authentically you in a free way, where there's no little invisible electric fence. Like that's what I mean by us being in our own way kind of shit, where it's a version of you that's got this anxiety about something that shouldn't even be that big, right? but you actually got to figure it out, because you can find it's maybe a childhood version of you that is stuck in this memory of that time. Maybe you went in front of class at show and tell, and you brought your favorite yo-yo, and everybody said that shit was trash.
Whack.
You know,
Or I had shit to show.
right?
I had no show.
Exactly.
And I had to tell I had shit to show.
And not just, you face them. That's one thing. You allow yourself to see, okay, this is in me. Like, okay, it's ugly, it's shriveled up, it's in a corner, scared. Okay, I can see that. I can acknowledge that, even if it's a small fear, this fear is in me. Okay, I can see it. Then the next part is, okay, let me listen to what it has to say. Let me see what's this argument, even if it sounds ridiculous, because whatever this ridiculous thing is, it's in me. And I need to be able to let it have its space for a moment. And then once you can face it, you can dialogue with it a little bit, you can actually comfort it. Like, give yourself the comfort other people never gave you, that you wanted. Because it's crazy sometimes. Like, I talk to different people, and as much as they want to be heard by the world, there's so many parts of themselves they won't even listen to.
I think back, you sent me all the replays. I was like, I ain't listening to none of that shit. And when I was listening to it, I would fast forward when I was talking just to listen to what you said. And that's the first thing you said. Don't fast forward yourself. I was like, nah, I'll fast forward. I don't care what you say. I'll fast forward myself.
Yeah, because I think sometimes when people do that, like, there's a part of themselves that knows, you don't even want to hear the things you got to say, like the things that are going to come out your mouth are going to sound crazy, and you won't have to think about that. But once you can face it and you can see it, you can really move past it, like not in a coping way where you numb yourself to how it is and you just deal with it, but you actually contend with it and engage with it.
Can I pause so you can't hear? No. I just had to I didn't want to be you and take a piss so everybody hears.
Right. I think if you hit the little microphone. Hey, y'all know I should be on that motherfucker taking a piss. Moaning and shit. If you want to, you can hit the camera thing, I think, too. Blocks out. Okay, cool. I remember I shitted myself at school, and my parents had to bring a change of underwear to school. Ooh, that gotta be embarrassing, man. I think I remember one time I shitted myself, and it wasn't even like full blown like shit everywhere. It was like I knew I had the shit, and a little bit came out, and I was out in public. I was so upset. I was walking all weird, trying to get back to my car. God damn, bro. Oh, man. I mean, it wasn't even a lot, but I was crushed. Oh, so embarrassing myself. And nobody even know. Nobody even knew. But I was mortified.
Right. Even just taking a regular shit. Not even shit on yourself. Going to the bathroom, you couldn't even take a regular shit. It was like, oh, no, only I take a shit. Nobody else takes a shit.
That's why I used to be in school. Like, if even though everybody takes a shit, if anybody knew you took a shit, it was like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, put your legs up in the air when somebody came in.
Oh man, don't let them see your feet up under the stall, man. Yeah, I was grown, bro. I had to be like 21, 22. I had to be 21, 22. It was not a good day for me. Oh shit! And that's the thing, man. That's why that hell realm can be perfect, because you can get in there and you can really engage with the parts of yourself even you don't want to look at. And the more you get to looking at them and you become comfortable with them, like that's what I mean when I say you can recognize the smell of your own bullshit. Where, because sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, the world is fucked up, everybody's shitty out here, y'all need to change. But some of that shit could be the shit in your own pants that's stinking, even if it ain't a lot.
That's like when you're in a shitter too long, you don't smell your own shit. You so used to it, you're like, I don't smell
right?
shit. And then somebody came in, you're like, you took a shit. I'm like, oh, you smell that?
Like you ever seen hoarders where people go into their house and they're like, oh my god, it stink, and the other person like, what do you mean?
I
It
delivered.
smells fine.
I delivered to houses like that. Yeah.
Ooh, see, I've never even been. Ooh,
I did Best Buy when I was like 23, 22. And I came in a house like this. And the dude I was with, he was like, yo, you're not embarrassed? I was like, they're not embarrassed?
right?
They're not embarrassed that I had to do it. You know what I mean? And that's when I was even done too. And I still was like, shit, that shit stink. It was horrible.
Nah,
But that's how I see life.
at that age, if I'd have done that, I wouldn't have put my shirt over my face because I'd have been too nice. I would have just sat there and smelled that nastiness and pretended like I didn't.
But that was my point. I was that too nice guy. But I got a big nose, bro. I smell everything. So I was just like, hey,
Look, who you telling?
yo, I smell everything. I could be too nice.
Oh, yeah, I had to grow out of a lot of that too nice stuff because it was me being inauthentic, in a way that I thought I was helping other people and myself, and I wasn't.
Fake humble.
Like, yeah, it was fake humble, yeah.
Yep.
Oh man. And
Yep.
see, with the young folks, bro, they don't understand that. You know, you feel like you be a teenager, you're full of piss and cum, and you think you're ready to be grown, but I mean, you don't really hit grown till about 30 something.
That was my best hard years, but my best years were my 30s, yeah. And then I got to my 40s now, and that's where I hit that wall, like, okay, you thought you knew some shit. Being a baby again, like it's being real type shit.
Yeah. And some folks die without even getting even close to any of this. So I mean, that's why I count myself lucky. And some folks will go to the grave and have nothing.
Now, what's your thought on that? That's what made me think differently when you just said that.
Well, was my thought on what?
Like when people so what you just said makes me go back to when I was in church, and I was like, well, how about the people that were abortioned or miscarried or died early that never got to find Jesus Christ? How they get to go to heaven?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. So I put that on the same level what you just said.
Yeah, there was a South Park episode about that. Yeah, it's a little bit of a loophole, you know, because it's like, what happens to a retarded person if they can't accept Jesus? Do they go to hell? You know,
Right.
and yeah, it's little loopholes, little catches, you know, because when you're a Christian, you try not to look at that and just try to overlook it and say everything is still good. But
because you're special.
yeah, but see, this is where you want to zone in, because for yourself at least, you want to be able to zone in on those places where you want to give yourself an exception, you know, or a loophole so that you can cope. But it does you no service to give yourself a loophole, to cheat yourself, to cut your own corners.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, that only works so long. You can fake it till you make it so long until you don't know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you faking it to make, like you said, where do you fake it to make it to? Well,
yeah,
you made it.
right. You should probably end up faking making it instead of actually making it. You know, it's a long journey, man. Like it's a lot of stuff that goes on in life. That's what I'm saying. The young folk don't understand that. They think they ready. They think they done seen it all, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
Not even drop in a bucket. So it's a drop in a bucket full of water, right? You thought that was the ocean.
Uh-huh.
Then you get to a pond or a puddle. You thought that was the ocean, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger until you really get to the ocean. It's just like, God dang, you really a drop in the ocean. And what they say, we only know what, 10% of the ocean right now, 5% of the ocean.
I think it's probably from something like 5% of the ocean.
And the ocean is what, 75%, 85% of the earth.
Yes. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Like, there's so much in what you are. Like, we only know, most people only live in like a shallow version of themselves in the surface. But when you start to get deeper in your own shit, there's so much to explore. There's so much to uncover. There's so many little things that you thought oh, I've been over that, man. I ain't think about that no more. But just because you don't think about it don't mean it ain't in you. Don't mean it's not affecting the way you move, what you do, how you decide things, what you believe. You know, there's layers to it. There's layers to it, man. And
Well,
I know the beginning phases are difficult and it can be confusing, but I'm so serious it's worth it, man. Like like please listen to them recordings. Like listen to you. Like lean
fuck
into Michael
you.
and Freedom. Yes.
Fuck
Yes.
you. For real. Nah, that shit's hard as fuck. Oh my god. Every time I think about even going to that, I get cringe. It's like anxiety. It's just like, oh, I don't even want to listen to that shit. Yo, this is because I know I every time I try to like when I try to why I don't post me no more on Instagram and I post you or somebody else is because I don't even want to hear myself no more. I got nothing to say. Like I got nothing to say, bro. Like don't ask me no questions. Hey, go to him.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, because you're not the only one who feels that way. It's like as much as you think you may feel like, oh man, I'm so cringe. Like there's so many other people who feel that way too. Like, that's why I love the guild, man, because people get to hear each other and see each other. You know, they'll come in with this feeling that, you know, oh, nobody else in the room understands me. Like maybe Arius gets me a little, so I'm gonna keep trying to talk to him. But it's like, no, listen to everybody else. Like this person's about to say the thing that you would have said. You know, it's like clockwork.
But that's the difference between you and her, and not to give you a hero cookie, but that it just is. It is what it is. Like when you hear people trying to teach you something, then they're never quick to tell you about themselves. You know what I mean? They're quick to say, "Oh, I'm this, I'm that." Oh, you still laying in bed 8 hours? You trying to sleep 8 hours a day? Oh, you're not trying to get it.
Right? You ain't hustling
You
hard
ain't
enough.
hustling hard. $200,000 a month. That's all you making?
Ooh.
You better start taking naps.
Right? That's
But
all
no,
you deserve.
right. You don't deserve a nap. But no, it's like, but even just talking about like your falls, your stumbles, which aren't even really falls and stumbles. Like we all, like you said, like once we start all talking, we all start to see it's the same patterns for all of us. When I've been to different countries, I see little kids doing the same shit little kids do here in America. You know what I mean? And I was like, these little kids never even met this culture, yet these little kids are doing the same thing. So that's what started to get me. Like when I went to Kuwait for the first time, and I seen this Muslim country with Muslim laws, and I came from Christianity, America, and the first thing I saw was families. All I seen was families, and that already, I was like, well, if Muslims so bad, why they got families here? And I grew up in a single household. I said, in America, you got mad single kids. You know what I mean? That was the first thought, and that was the first thinking of me questioning, because we were taught not to question anything biblically because you're questioning God. If you question God, now you don't use your brain that God gave you. Just don't question. You know what I mean? That's just the way God wants it. So these are the things that started. That was in 2006. You know what I mean? But I didn't really get into anything till 2012. You could, Mike. So to 2012, that's when I just came out my shell. Be like, fuck it. Like, if what I've learned to this point wasn't real in my life, then I don't even want to live no more. Like I was just like, I got to the point where I was like, I was Christian, like, and not even the pastors in my mind at the time weren't pastors, because I learned shit about them, and I was just like, well, shit, you ain't walking like Jesus walked. You know what I mean? Every time you leave our church, I'm cleaning the toilets. You're going to the mansions, not mansions, but he was going to the place where I couldn't live. You know what I mean? So it's just things like that. So long story short, that's physical shit that don't mean nothing now. And what I'm trying to say is, I'm just putting things out there now because we're talking our lives. So I just want to put it out there that this is how I am as a grown ass man now. But a lot of people are fearful just to even think these things. Like it's not even, let alone talk about it. You can't even think this. You know what I mean? And that's where I was. it was like this invisible fence around my mind that, okay, well, I can't even, don't look at this, don't see that. You see it, you hear it, don't talk about it, don't think about it. Just keep going on about your life and keep giving your tithes and your offerings. That I'm working hard for it and I'm barely living. You know what I mean? And so it came to a point where I was free from that, and I was just like, fuck everything. So I had to actually go to another level of fuck it and fuck around and find out and get hurt. And because after I fucked around and found out, I got hurt more as I went through that. You know what I mean? As I went through my other awakening, I got hurt, and I was just like, damn, this don't feel good. I think I should go back to church.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I was young, man. I was like, up until about 14, I was a Christian, man. I was reading the Bible. I was praying every day. I was watching. I just like you had in your head where Jesus is watching. And I took it seriously. I took it real serious. I remember I was probably about 12. And we was at church, and I decided to go get baptized. I ain't tell nobody, but it surprised the hell out of my dad when he saw me walking down that aisle to go get baptized. Because I was in it. I was like, this is real, right? We here, we doing this. But yeah, it was a big shock to me to find out nobody else was really in it like that. No one really thought about it like that. So. But this is why I like people who are actually religious. My wife was deep in Christianity. There's another dude, Amar, that I had talked with. He was serious Muslim, and it's like that's the passion you want to have about Michael and freedom. Like you got the gumption in you to do it. It's just you put that on Michael and freedom and go hard like that. It's gonna unfold. It's gonna unfold. Now it might get confusing, and I won't deny you that. But
too late.
Real shit though. Real shit. Exactly. Too late. You in it. You in it. And yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm here. That's why I did this. Because I'm like, I can't do. Ain't no way to go back. I'm just like, hey, I'm that dumb dude right now, and I'm just trying to figure my way out. And I'm gonna figure my way out, just like I did before, And so it is what it is.
I fuck with it, man. I fuck with it, man. You got to go back and listen to those audios. I'm so serious. Oh my god. Once you get past the cringe and you can start to hear yourself, man, it's gonna be like like what I say, like when you finish step 1, step 2 becomes obvious. Like once you get past that level, that film of cringe, that layer of cringe, and you start to hear, like, damn, this is what I think. This is what I believe. That's how I feel about it. And I'm not taking that seriously. That's the step 2, and you know which direction to go. Like I'm so serious because I get the inclination, sometimes people who are scamming you, they'll be telling you, oh, you're not doing it right enough. You gotta keep believing. You gotta keep believing. You gotta ask Jesus. And they just saying that, but I don't know how to say it and not sound like I'm just saying it. But I'm so serious. It's that level, that layer of cringe, because you're not the only person who said this. I get this consistently. It's that, damn, I didn't even want to have to listen to myself. But once you get in there and you're not ashamed and embarrassed of your own listening to your own self, man, it's gonna open you up, bro. I'm so serious. I'm so serious.
Yeah. So the guild. Because we could talk about the guild, which I'm gonna be in next turn around. Next turn around, I'm gonna be in there. So yes, that starts when? What's the next June? July?
The next one starts at the beginning of July. Yeah, the doors open up again at the beginning of July. Yeah.
All right, cool.
I really do like the idea of only opening up certain times of the year. That way I have all the time and space I need to focus on whoever needs something, because I'll do about 9 sessions a month, and I give you the recordings for 6 of them. But even still, like I even if somebody needs something a little extra, I have all this time and space for it. I'm not worried about, trying to onboard somebody else, take somebody else's money, get them set up and caught up. It's like, no, I want to be able to focus on who I got and help to bring the people who are in there together. Because a lot of times people will do the thing where they say, well, I don't know nobody else in this. And, fair enough. Okay. But now you get to know some people who are in it. And, not just me. Because, sometimes I walk in a room and it's like, oh, the teacher just walked in. Okay. But like, no, you get to know other people who are at your same level, so to speak, who are facing the same things as you.
But it,
You may not know them in physical life or have met them, but maybe you could one day.
but it,
You know?
ain't we the same ones complaining that we can't talk to nobody in physical life?
Yes, yes. That's what I be saying. So I love doing that. I love opening that up, and then I love focus. We focus on making stuff practical because that's what everybody wants to do. They want to, how do I make this a part of my everyday life? And then, like I say, it can be simple. Like how do you make anything part of your day to day life? You engage with it.
Teeth.
You make it. You put it in your life. Even if it's, even if that Christian only looks at that Jesus picture for a few minutes every day, it's part of their everyday life. And from that little bit, it can begin to unfold, and then being a Christian becomes a lifestyle and not just something they do every now and then. And that's what this, once you can make spirituality a lifestyle where you're actively looking to not only be honest with yourself about why you do what you do, but to be able to see things in yourself that aren't right there at the surface, to see some of that stuff that's a little bit deeper. It's wonderful, man. I love it because I know some people just talk about this stuff because no one's gonna challenge them and they can say whatever they want to. I can't stop it, but it's not just I don't want nobody to follow me because I have plenty of places I fuck up. I love people to be better than me eventually. Like that's like I want motherfuckers to be better than me. Like that's what I like. I don't want to become anybody's new thing to follow because I'm not the example. I be fucking up.
I said the same thing until I came across Arius. Be better than me. Yo, shut up. Who's this dude?
Right?
Like, every time too? Every time? I can't have an up one time? No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the shit. Be careful what you pray for type shit. Be careful what you ask for. And that's what my life's been though, bro. Like, every time I pray something and I meant it, but I didn't understand how it was gonna come because the church teach you, oh no, when you know it comes, there's no barriers. When Jesus Christ opens the door, there'll be nothing holding it back. And that's what we're taught. We're taught where there's no fight, you're going the right way. So you're always looking for the easy way.
Exactly.
When something starts happening wrong, oh no, that's not God. Let me go back. Let me go back and do something different. You know what I mean? And that's the society we live in at the end of the day. Like, and I'm talking from my own place of coming from the church and my family and everything. So when I see things like you, people like you, physical meat bags like you, I go towards that now. But I don't like it, but I go towards it and I leave. I'm like, nah, he's too much right now. I can't. I gotta go. Eat too much, right?
One thing I try to open people up to, and I think it's in that same vein that you're talking about here, is opening yourself up to things you never could have imagined. Like, a lot of times we get caught up in the intention of what we want to be the outcome, and the world of things you never could have imagined is so much larger. There's so many more resources there. Like the idea of if I want to curse somebody or something, and I'm mad at them, I'm thinking, hey man, I'm gonna fuck this man's car up, man. Fuck him. That's what in my small frame of perception, I'm thinking, okay, that's what's gonna fuck him up, because that's what I would be mad about. But when I open myself up to shit I could never imagine, I may not know he got a problem with his mama, and all it needs is a little bit of a push, and his shit just fall apart in ways that I wouldn't even know would have hurt him. And so it's like being open to, okay, I want money in my life. Okay, well, I think it's supposed to come this way, so I'm trying to get it to do this. Nah, open it up, and shit comes in ways you never could have imagined, and that's I love that shit. I love that shit.
But see, oh man, you're going into another level. So that's the thing that I found that is easy for me. Not that I'm living the life that I love, but I've found a wave, a flow that I could easily make a living. Mm-hmm. But not to say that I don't got to work for it. I have to work for it. But I'm valuable in my career, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? But my goal, if I have to be this Tony body, will be I could be remotely working anywhere in the world. Like anywhere I lay my head is my home. I don't want nowhere to be my home. That's my perspective. That would be my perfect life here on Earth as Tony. So, but I don't have that life. So but the life that I do have, I can't complain. But I am complaining because it's not. I'm in a, you know what I mean? But I'm at a level where a lot of people they can't even grasp or even think about. Just like I can't even grasp or think about what I really want to have. Like,
yeah. No, that makes that. No, I get you. Because it takes a bit of faith to do that sometimes. And sometimes people think when they hear the word faith, they think of blind faith, where you believe something with no evidence. But the faith I'm talking about isn't no evidence. It's actually using what I believe and walking with that and staying in line with that. That's not no evidence. It may not be how I expect it to be. And that's mostly my own shit and my expectations.
Right.
I think that's interesting. I think it's very interesting because you have an idea where home can be wherever you lay your head at. And for me, I've been trying for years to have the opposite of that, man. Like I haven't had a place to call home. I'm always having to go from this place to that place, and I hate it so much. I think that's very interesting. It's like it's not that one of our things is right or wrong, but it's so different. It's so interesting to see how different things will satisfy different people in different ways.
But what you're saying is very true, because the dude I talk about, Mike, my first best friend in the military, he said the same thing. And but he was a black brother, same complexion, and obviously I'm not black, but my pops looks just like you. And so I have my pops look like you. He's Dominican. My mom is white, but she's Puerto Rican. So I'm a dumb Rican.
I like that. I'm fucking with that.
Dope shit about growing up where I grew up is that it was very diverse, right? So you had racism, but you had diversity at the same time. So racism really wasn't huge. We knew it was there, but it wasn't huge. And the reason why I say that, not because of the way I look, but because I always had brothers in the background. If you look at all my pictures, it's nothing but brothers. But what's crazy is my family always taught me to be lighter, because lighter is right, white is right. Technically, you know what I mean? Yeah. I always looked at that as some fuck shit, but then I understood as I got older, it was because they wanted a better life for me.
Yeah.
And now, but because I never could relate to Spanish people because I couldn't speak Spanish. I was like, that Spanish shit was, I could speak it, but I didn't like it. I just wasn't where I wanted to go. It was always, when I went into military, I always went to the brothers. I was like, yo, I'm over here, they over there, type thing. It was nothing that I was just like, I never went to the military like, yo, when I see the Spanish people, I'm gonna go that way. You know, it wasn't something that just happened that I said, how's that called? Like, when you plan shit out. I didn't plan it to be that way. It just happened that way. But it's crazy because my whole life I was taught that my dad was an ugly person because he was dark. My mom was a beautiful person because she was light. You know? So you would think I would have went the other way, but I always went the opposite way, even though I didn't like my pops because my pops didn't do everything that was comfortable to me. He rejected me, yet I was going always to where what rejected me. It's kind of making sense now. But anyway.
Well, you heard yourself for a second, right? Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow, that's crazy.
Right? Look, I'm telling you.
Wow. That's crazy. That's why I hate talking. I guess that's why I hate talking, because of shit.
I love that.
Wow, that's crazy. But no, and that's crazy too, because my mom hates me when I drink. She's like, every time you drink, you start talking. Because I be talking, I just talk shit. I don't talk nothing. Anytime I talk, it's not shit that is just like, oh, you seen the game tonight? You see the Knicks? What the Knicks happened? I'm always about the shit that happens. It's like, I'm hitting the dirt. I'm bringing up the carpets and all the shit. Because it's just like, I got to a point where I was just like, why is everybody talking about shit that don't matter? You talking all day about some dumb shit. Okay, we got, just like when I was in my conspiracy shit, I got to a point I was like, God damn, Tony, you keep posting all this shit about what's happening wrong, according to you, and what's the solution? What are people supposed to do about your great fucking conspiracy videos? Now what? What's the answer? Crickets. That's all. That was the answer. You know what I mean? But you got me thinking that way, and I was just like, God damn, you're right. I thought I had all these dope ass videos. Yo, they're in the lockdown. I was like, I was in my truck too. You're like, yo, what's all these dudes doing their fucking videos in their cars? And I was like, fuck this dude, bro. Yo, he don't know me like that. He don't even know me. What are you talking about me? So when I say, you called me out on everything that I did, bro. Like every little thing that I did. And I was like, yo, I never met this dude. He keeps calling me out. Like, he don't got me. Yo, look at my followers, bro. Yo, I got followers.
Oh my God.
Yo. This shit's crazy.
I love it. Oh, that makes me feel so good. Oh my God, I'm a piece of shit.
Yo. Nah, for real. But this is how it was. This was my journey, yo. This is my journey of how I understood how to be a discernment, even though I knew to this day I still don't have great discernment. I have better discernment, but I'm understanding that my discernment is still not good because I still have my emotional side that I trust men more than I trust women, if I could be real, at the end of the day. And I've been, later on in my life, I've been fucked more by men than women. And so, but anyway, long story short, I don't know where I was going with that. I just want to put that out there. That was just, it just is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah. Once again, just this stuff is not linear. Like you'll be here and thinking, okay, I'm not sure why I'm here yet, but once you get around the corner and come back, like, okay, now it all makes sense. Oh, I love it, bro. It's so wonderful. It's the unfolding.
What I could put with that last part that I didn't know what I understood with the masculine and feminine, where you put it to perspective was the masculine directs the feminine, and the feminine. You, I can't. I'm asking you right now.
Oh,
So you said not because the masculine is not male and the feminine is not female. That's what I'm trying
yeah,
to
yeah. Masculine and feminine define one another,
find
and
one
male
another.
and female contain one another.
Right. But we're always looking in the physical form. So
Yeah.
where all this fucking male and female go, like the fighting has happened because we're always looking at the physical shit, but we're not looking at what you just that shit that you just explained.
We don't necessarily know how to play the role of masculine because male and female, like they have a little bit of each other in them, but masculine and feminine set the boundary for one another. Like where one ends, the other one begins. So I mean, it's a little bit separate because a lot of people will just say stuff to try and validate whatever they want to say, and they, to hell with the details. But it's those details make all the difference.
Yo, look. I'm pointing at me. That was me my whole life.
When you talking about me again?
Yeah, but once you get over that, it's just like, okay, now what? I don't understand. Even if you're making money, like a lot of people making money off of this war, this feminine, it's like, well, what the fuck are you getting out of it? Like, now what? What's the?
They don't have it now. What?
There is no.
They're just whatever's gonna make the money next. They're gonna do it.
The dude you put me on, the one that's always talking about black males, the brother with the beard, he just shows himself.
Dr. T. Johnson.
Yes, him. Like what he does all the time. I like his work, but I'm like, how do you talk about this same shit every day? You're different. You talk about very different. You could talk about the same topic, but it still be like different every time you talk about it. Me, I'm not gonna talk about bitches every day. Like all these bitches ain't doing. All these bitches. Everybody hate me. Everybody hate me. Everybody. Oh, you don't like Jesus Christ? You don't like Jesus Christ? Like I can't do that every day. That's not me, and that's why I fuck with you because you teach different levels and you teach different shit that doesn't have to be with the same shit. Like it's different, but I know a lot of your audience is very young and they won't get that. I get that very well, but I know that's why you're not about money, because if you was about money, you could fuck up the
eat them up. If I ain't give a fuck, I eat them up.
Yo, it's easy for me to see. You could eat this shit up. Yo, you could be a trizillionaire. I don't even know what the fuck a trizillionaire is after.
Trizillion.
I don't even know what's after that. But I'm just saying, like, no, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I could see you have a lot of layers that you could be like, you could fuck up the game easily. Easily. Not even with that shit wouldn't even be work to you, bro. Like, because when I listen to the brother you just told me about, the doctor, he's a doctor at that time.
Yeah, PhD. Yeah.
PhD. And he's talking about the same shit every day. Like I could only go to your YouTube and listen to a few, not you personally, a certain YouTube. I can only go to your YouTube if you keep talking about the same shit. Bruh. I get it. Worms come out the hole. When it rains, you're gonna have a whole bunch of worms.
Because a lot of people don't have too much original content, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah, motherfuckers will think it's easy because if you make it look easy, they'll think it's easy.
But no, it is easy for the 99.999